Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Nick and I happen to live here in the wonderful Waterpoint, and I'm going to take you on a tour of the whole 355 hectare community in this video here, and I'll tell you everything you need to know if you're thinking about moving here, either into an apartment, a townhouse, or one of the big villas, or even one of the humongous luxury villas here for millions and millions of dollars. Like, there's something for everyone here, and it goes all the way from studio apartments up to 10-bedroom mansions, right? So I live in an apartment here, and that's enough for me at the moment. We are thinking about moving into a townhouse, so I'll show you some of those when I pass them on my trusty iron horse here, because I'm going to take my bike around Waterpoint. Very unusual in Vietnam, but I'm going to do it anyway, because Waterpoint is built with Western communities in mind. So if you like to ride your bike, this is perfect. There are bike paths everywhere. There's one going right here along the river, and of course up here there's actual bitumen paths, and they're all very safe and they're all very well maintained, and there's heaps of them. They go all around Waterpoint. So like I said, I'll show you the whole Waterpoint. I'll show you everything that's been built so far, and also stuff that hasn't been finished, and supermarkets, bus stop, pools, tennis courts, sports areas. Of course, all the different accommodation you can buy here or rent if you're so inclined. And of course, the coffee shops and the shops and everything you need to know, really. We bought an apartment here in what's called eHome, and I'll show you that as well in the video. It's the cheapest part of Waterpoint, and it's about, at least at the time we purchased, it's $1.5 billion for a 2-bedroom apartment with a balcony, which is very nice. They are building new apartments now. We probably would have bought one of those if we had the opportunity back then, but we purchased nearly 2 years ago. And the new apartments won't be ready for probably another year or so. And the villa's a little bit out of our price range, but like I said, we are considering maybe upgrading to a townhouse in the near future, if we decide to move here on a permanent basis. But stick with me, and I'll show you the whole area here, and I'll tell you everything I know so far. And of course, we're also going to visit the school, very important if you have kids. And I'll give you my tips and tricks that I've learned staying here for a bit. So yeah, join me on a very nice bike trip here. Alright guys, I've reached my next stop here on the little tour around Waterpoint, and as you can see, this is the main compound here at Waterpoint. It's in the middle of the complex, and these are huge, humongous villas, like 300-400 square meters, something like that. Of course, surrounded by a river and palm trees, and of course bike paths and all the other stuff you get anywhere in Waterpoint, really. It's also kind of on its own little island in here, and there's a bridge access, very exclusive access, and they have their own pool, and a very, very nice pool, probably one of the best pools I have ever seen in my life. It's not super big, but it looks like something out of a fairy tale adventure or whatever. So these are being built now. Last time I was here, these weren't even started, so they made a good amount of progress in about 4 months since last time I was here. There was nothing over there. And this is going to be the most, well, I assume the most exclusive part of Waterpoint, surrounded by rivers, palm trees and what have you. And of course in there it's going to be like exclusive access only. Like I said, only the people who live in there can use the pool in there. Of course there are other pools in Waterpoint that you can use, but yeah, a couple of $1 million house in there will set you back, so you can see if you want it anyway. Right here, close to the main compound, is the school. It's just over here in front of me. There's probably 200 meters. So, if you gotta go to school, it's pretty easy, probably 5 minutes away. So the school is, I think 5 minutes from everywhere inside Waterpoint. So it's really easy to get here if you're a student, even if you live all the way down in the very expensive stuff down in the back of Waterpoint. There's the little electric shuttles, little golf carts going around of Waterpoint every 10-20 minutes. You can always grab one of those, or you can grab your scooter or whatever you want, or you can, catch a ride with your parents in their car. Anyway, I haven't seen the school inside yet. I'll try to do that at some point, but so far, so good. So here behind me, one of the famous little golf carts. Well, golf cart is a little bit stretched, it's actually quite big. But it's a little bus that takes you around Waterpoint. It doesn't run right now because it is the holiday, but usually they come around every 10 minutes, picking people up from one part of Waterpoint and taking them wherever they want to go. And it's really convenient, and it's free as long as you live here, right? So even if you live in eHome, the cheapest area, you get all these things for free. So yeah, it's really worth considering. Hey guys, this is my next stop on the tour around Waterpoint here, and this is the subdivision called Rivera. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be Riviera, but anyway. So in here they have a selection of villas and townhouses and also shop houses. And the townhouses start from around 4 billion dong at this time, you know, unfurnished and anything. And the others go up to around 10, 12 billion dong, something like that at the time. Right now, the prices go up all the time. So I'll just take you through in here, and after that we'll go somewhere else. All right guys, so I'm riding my bike down Rivera here, and I'll just show you what is available around here. It's a very like leafy kind of suburb here, and this is where we're thinking of getting our townhouse. So far, all the shop houses out here are pretty much closed, not much going on. This is the middle of that, and there's really also not that many tenants in here yet. Okay, so here we are still in Rivera, and I'm just going to show you what the roads pretty much look like here. And as you can tell, they're very Western, and they also very nice. They're inspired by this Nam Long company here, building this whole Waterpoint here with a kind of a Japanese aesthetic, and I really like it. That's also why we are, you know, very keen on actually living here. As you can see, also a bit empty in here so far, but I'm sure that'll change. So behind me here, I don't know if you can see it, we have a playground, and there's one in every subdivision in Waterpoint, and it also contains a basketball court and a tennis court, I believe. There's no pool right here. The pool is further down here, but I'll show you that later. All right, so I've made it to the end of the shopping street here behind me in Rivera, and right here is a kind of a relaxing spot here. The river right here, pretty awesome. And if you remember from the map I've shown, the river goes all the way around Waterpoint. So it's really open only on one side. So you have three sides of river going around, which is pretty awesome. To my right here, we have a little bit of a cafe because it's dead. It's closed right now. But it's very nice, and there's another coffee shop I'll show you as well. Behind me, to both sides here, we have parklands along the river. Really nice. So I'm just gonna go down there as well. So I suppose a tour of Waterpoint isn't complete unless I actually take you down to the river. And here I am, standing right next to the river. And it's called, oh, correct me here, Vam Gop Dong or something like that. But yeah, whatever. It's a very nice river, and it's not very polluted. As you can see, it's actually quite nice. Of course, there's a bit of trash in it, but it's really not as bad as you'd see in Ho Chi Minh or anything like that. And there's a kind of boat station like this on each side of Waterpoint. I'll show you the other one later. This one is the Rivera one. And right now, no one's there, but sometimes there are boats anchored here, and I guess people come from Ho Chi Minh and just drop off here. I don't know, but sometimes it's used, sometimes it's not. But it is a very nice spot here. It's a little bit hot this time of day. But it's definitely worth sitting here with a cold drink if you get the opportunity, which I'm sure you will if you live here. So I'll just ride my bike down this nature path here along the river, just to show you how easy it is to get around here, especially if you have a bike. It's really a no-brainer. Playground again, like I said, playgrounds are everywhere around here. And although I'm riding on dirt, it's not bad at all. So this one goes on for ever and ever, and of course, if you don't have a bike, you can just jog here if you prefer to do that. And you see the houses again here, right down to the river. And the river is right there on the other side. Alright, so I'm just riding down along the path here with the small river here, and all these houses here on my side have pretty much river access straight down from their front door. And again, very, very nice and quiet in here. There's no cars or anything in here. Not that that's a really big problem in Waterpoint anyway. But yeah, definitely some place you should consider if you are, if you want, river access. Or I suppose you could fish in there if you really wanted to. I haven't tried, but I suppose that is an option. I'm not sure I would eat what I caught in there, but it is an option. So again, lots of nice trees along the river here, and of course they're going to grow. They've already grown a lot in the time I've been here. So yeah, looks very nice. Alright, so on my tour of Waterpoint, I've made it to this place here, which is the Japanese garden. Now this is just the outside part. I'll show you the whole thing, but it's really beautiful, and it's really big as well, and it's well maintained. You don't see that a lot in Vietnam, and I have to give it to Nam Lam, like the company that built Waterpoint. They're really keeping it in schmick condition, even though not many people live here yet. Because you see a lot in these compounds here that until critical mass of people move in, the developer seems to kind of think, well, we're not going to cut the grass, we're not going to fix this, we're not going to do that, we're not going to do anything basically, and the whole thing just turns into rot. And I wouldn't pay millions of dollars for a house in an area that the developer has just pretty much left behind. But that's not happening here, and that's wonderful. Nam Long is really taking good care of it. I don't know if you can see the little Japanese pagodas in here in the garden, but I'll take you in there in a full tour. So here I am inside the Japanese garden here at Waterpoint, and as you can tell, surrounded by bamboo and Japanese inspired bushes, and of course buildings as well, and of course koi ponds everywhere. This area is fantastic, and it's really well maintained, and it's free. Like, you just come here when you want to chill and have some Japanese inspired time, I guess, and yeah, there you go. All right, I've made it here to the bridge going from the Japanese garden here behind me, over the little river here, over to what used to be called the Solari side. But what they're building now here is Solaria. It's apartments basically, a bit fancier than the ones that exist here already. One's down in E-Home. This is an upmarket apartment area, and there's 1.5, 2, and I believe 3-bedroom apartments with their own pool, their own park, and it's being built now. It's for sale, and I think they cost between 3 and 5 billion, something like that. So if you think E-Home is a little bit below your standard or whatever, and you still want to be in, and you still want to be in an apartment, these ones are the ones you should pick then. Like I said, they will be more upmarket once they're built, better materials, and they're going to have Japanese garden right here in front of them. They're a little bit far to the bus stop, for example. I can show you down here. You can see E-Home is down here behind me, and the bus stop is all the way down there, so actually quite a way. But on the other hand, if you live in there, you probably don't need to take the bus. Alright, so next stop on our tour here is Aquaria. This is, I think this is the first subdivision built except for E-Home, and it's also the nicest in my opinion. Now the Solaria new apartments are going to be right here, but I'll just take you down into Aquaria now, and as you can see, it looks pretty schmick. Alright, so I'm just quietly going down the Aquaria area here on the main street. As you can see, we have, well, you can't see it yet, but I'll show you in a minute. The shop houses on each side, and most of them closed right now. It is dead, and again, not that many people actually live here yet. But it's a very schmick area, and as you can tell, it's looks very French, I think, sometimes at least. But like I said, yeah, not a soul on the street right now because it is public holiday, and again, like I said, not many people live here yet, and the shops aren't open. There's actually nowhere to eat here after 4 p.m. I think it's really hard to find. You have to actually go out of Waterpoint. Hopefully that'll change soon, but that is a bit of a downside at the moment when you're living here as one of the first people. Alright, so I made it to the other side of Waterpoint, to the river on the Aquaria side. You can see it right here behind me. Beautiful again. Have your own pretty much carbon copy of what's on the Riverside, but really nice. Over here is special though because they have their own little coffee shop, and yeah, it's nice. I spent a lot of time sitting down here. It's a little bit pricey. It's pretty much Aussie prices for a coffee, but you're sitting right here on the river with river view, like with palm trees, and it's really chill. There's usually 3 or 4 people down here. Hopefully in 5 years it's going to change, but that's the way it right now. And right up here is the actual Aquaria area. So here behind me is a little bit of a picnic stop, I suppose it is, with the chairs and umbrellas all ready to go, really. So very, very Australian-like, right? There's also barbecues, and down here a little bit further there's a bit of a playground as well. And of course, expensive houses right up there. All right, the next area I want to show you is an area they haven't finished yet, which is understandable because it is the marina. See it here behind me. It's big, a couple of hectares at least, probably 10 or 12 actually. And right out there in the distance, you can see houses as well, very, very expensive houses. Now the marina isn't finished yet, as you can clearly see, but you see these houses here on the side, they're gonna have, straight access, straight out to the marina. If you want to see what it looks like, you can just look it up on Waterpoint's website. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be jetties, and of course, right here when I'm standing, there's access into the river. And of course, they're going to dig this up and put some sort of gate here, so you can take your boats in and out, right? This is going to be amazing. And you know, like, you can just put your little kayak here and your canoe if you want to. You don't have to have, you know, $1 million fancy boat or whatever. I'm not even sure they can get in here, but you know. Instead of riding your bike, if you want to get some exercise, you can take your canoe or kayak out on the river if you're feeling a little adventurous. I mean, it is a big river and the current is pretty strong. So unless you want to go all the way back to Ho Chi Minh, then yeah, make sure you can actually pedal against it. So of course, Waterpoint has, you know, pretty much something for everyone, depending what you want to live in. Like here behind me, some of the more expensive villas. These are not even the most expensive ones, but they are pretty nice. 200 square meters at minimum, right? And there's heaps of them, and all of these are empty. Don't know, either they bought and no one moved in yet, or they're just waiting to sell them on. All right, so right now I'm in the townhouse area. You can see them there. They are 2 stories, and they're also 1-story townhouses, and I think they are the best value here in Waterpoint, to be honest. They all have a small garden, you can see that, and you can see how the road is covered with, I think it's jacaranda trees. So yeah, it's very nice. And of course, you get the added benefit of having shade as well, which is, you know, pretty important. So you could look these apartments up here, or, you know, townhouses up if you're interested. But they're about 4 or 5 billion, something like that. So something I've neglected to say so far is that the infrastructure inside Waterpoint is definitely prepared for a lot of traffic. You can see I'm sitting here in the middle of the road, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lanes on each side. Yeah, there's not even going to be that many people in here who could possibly fill this road up. But here it is, and this road is, you know, nothing special. They're all pretty big like this, unless you get into the smaller little quarters, in the French quarters. But out here, there's definitely enough space for everyone for a long, long time. So don't worry if you have a car. So of course, any community with a bit of respect for itself, like Waterpoint does have, obviously has tennis courts, and Waterpoint has no less than 5 of them, you see here behind me. And they are excellent quality, and they are full size. And yeah, I play a lot of tennis down here, and all you gotta do is just go to the office and book, and you know, go and play. Of course, you can use your own rackets, but if you don't have rackets or balls, you can just rent them from the office, and you know, it costs a pittance, doesn't matter. And you can play as much as you like, really, as long as you have a time slotted in. Of course, if you live in Waterpoint, you have to pay a nominal fee. It doesn't really matter. So if tennis isn't your thing, there's also plenty of other sports you can play here, like namely soccer, like Vietnamese or football, whatever you want to call it. Vietnamese love soccer/football, and you know, so do I. I am European. So there's a big court here, and there's another one further afield, and another one on the other side of Waterpoint. Like I said, there's lots of sports activities and fields here, so you're not going to run out at all. And it's right next to the tennis courts right there. So you know, if mom and dad wants to play tennis and kids want to play soccer, it's pretty easy. All right, so on my tour, I've now stopped here at one of the best parks in Waterpoint. And there's a lot of parks in Waterpoint, but this is the best one, if you ask me, apart from the Japanese one. So as you can see, it's very well maintained, and lots of little pagodas and statues and waterfalls and, you know, fountains, all sorts of things. And again, it's free to just walk in here when you need a break from, you know, insanity. So I'm just going to take you a little bit further through the park here. As you can see, it's flower time. Here it's dead time. So apparently these flowers here seem to be blooming, and yeah, it just looks pretty, actually quite crazy. I don't think I can even capture how this looks like in the video, but yeah, it's definitely not something that you see every day when you're just living in an apartment somewhere in Vietnam, right? So it's one of the perks of staying in Waterpoint, because it really is like such a well thought out, well maintained, and just you know, high quality community. And we've looked a lot of them in Vietnam, like a whole lot of them, before we decided that this was the perfect one. And I'm just gonna go into this little pagoda here, so you can get a 360 look. And there's lots of these areas around Waterpoint, and yeah, it is beautiful. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Alright, so another thing that I forgot to tell you is that there are plenty of toilets in Waterpoint, public toilets that is, and they're actually very nice. I don't know if you've been to Vietnam before, but you know, sometimes the public toilets particularly can leave a little bit to be, you know. Anyway, these are very nice and they're cleaned every day, and you know, they're all over the Waterpoint area, so you never have to go far, which is nice if you have kids with you, for example. But yeah, always clean and you know, well maintained. Alright, so I've just parked my bike right here in front of what is the biggest pool at Waterpoint, and anyone can go in here, just to pay a little fee, and it's really not a lot. It's like 25,000 dong for a whole day access. You can also get monthly passes with discount if you live here, and all sorts of stuff. So I'm just gonna go in here and you know, have a bit of a swim, because it's a hot day touring around Waterpoint. So here I am at the pool now, and as you can see, again, I am the only person here, and it's a great pool. It's I think it's Olympic size, but anyway, there's plenty of room for everyone. And you know, like I said, you just pay a tiny little fee and you jump in and you stay there all day, pretty much whatever you want. As you see, there's chairs and everything for you know, if you want to stick around here the whole day, and of course shade as well. So let's jump in. So here I am inside the pool area, and you know, I found a good spot here under an umbrella, and of course there are, you know, sunbeds as well. And like I said before, I am the only person here. It's not unusual, but I've never been this empty before, so I think it's because it's dead, right? But you can see it's a huge pool, and it looks crystal clear. And there's a secondary pool over here for kids to enjoy if you don't want to go into the larger pool. It is a bit deep. I think the minimum depth is 1.2 from on the big pool, and of course the kiddies pool is like half a meter or something like that, so it's a lot safer. So this is the bus station in Waterpoint, and it's really nice, and the buses belong to Waterpoint. Actually parked down here behind, you can see them. They're not running now, it's dead. But you can go to Ho Chi Minh City from here in about an hour 15, something like that, if you want to. And they go, you know, every hour or so, and it works really well. And you just buy a ticket and you jump on, and that's it. And you'll be in Ho Chi Minh in no time. So our tour is now taking us to the local shopping center or shopping district, whatever you want to call it, here in Waterpoint. And it's not that big, but it has exactly what you need. Like for example, right here, we have a doctor or a hospital right here. And you know, so if you get sick, well, you know, there's help right here at Saigon Waterpoint. It's actually quite awesome. Of course, there's cafes and all that sort of stuff. And down here, we go down a little bit further. There are supermarkets and small kiosks, and there's also a few places where you can eat. They don't seem to be open at night though yet, but I'm sure that will come. So this is the supermarket, and you know, they speak English, and they have pretty much everything you could possibly want. Of course, prices are a little bit pricey in here in Waterpoint, but literally, if you go 5 minutes that way, you're out in a local area, and you know, everything is like, you know, 20% of the price in here. Alright, so I'm inside the supermarket now, and as you can see, they have everything you could possibly want, from toilet paper to meat and veggies and everything. The shelves are a little bit empty now because it's dead, but you know, you can get anything you want. Okay, so what I got behind me here is eHome. It is probably, well not probably, it is the cheapest part of Waterpoint, but it's still really, really nice. As you can see, they're apartment blocks, and they have the studios, 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms, up to about 75 square meters, and they cost from about 1 billion to 2 billion. And there's plenty of them, and you know, people in here are really nice, and of course you get all the perks that living in Waterpoint gives you, like tennis courts and pool access and all that stuff. These guys also have their own pool in the middle. I'll show you that. Their own basketball court and a gym and all sorts of other stuff. There's also a few cafes and little shops in here as well. But a really nice place to live, and I know for a fact because I do live here, so you can trust me when I say so. Alright, so I'm now inside the middle of eHome, and as you can see, I'm just standing next to the pool that they've got in here. That's their private pool, which is, you know, actually pretty good because not even the townhouses have their own pool area. Only if you live in the compound, right? But other than that, you know, there's blocks around here, and you know, no scooters are allowed in here, so it's really quiet. It's very unusual, like in Vietnam. And you know, everything is well maintained, just like everywhere else in Waterpoint. And I really cannot put my finger on anything, honestly. There's also a gym right up here, and you know, always empty pretty much. And on the other side of this building, there is a basketball court. So here I am in front of the basketball court. You can also play tennis here, or you know, anything that requires a hard court, really. And if you look around, again, we are covered by all the eHome blocks, but there's plenty of space, plenty of light, and plenty of greenery, as you can see. And it's all well maintained. There's people here watering it several times a day, and you know, going over it with a nail tooth, pretty much. It's quite impressive. You might be able to see the gym up there, and yeah, open to everyone in eHome. It's free. The pool is free as well. So of course, it's awesome. Under each building, you have parking for scooters. If you have cars, you can park outside, but there's plenty of room as well. So yeah, pretty good. Alright guys, I have now made a total trip of Waterpoint. Not everything, of course, because only about 30% has been built so far. There's still a lot to come. So I'm now sitting on my balcony and going to chill for a while. It was a hot trip. I hope you enjoyed it. Any comments or questions, just put it in the video, like the comment section. Go ahead, I'll answer anything I know. But right now, I'm going to have a cold Saigon beer and enjoy it up here. So join me for the next video, and thanks for watching. And lastly, just a little disclaimer here. I'm not a real estate agent or anything like that. I just live here, right? And I just like it, and I think other people should live here as well. So that's why, that's my motivation for this video here. So, you know, I cannot answer any questions about property tax and all that stuff. You're gonna have to go to